Yo guys, welcome to my stream. Here we're going to be creating an authentication system whereby we listed the things we needed here for our project. So here we needed a project structure of how we're going to build the authentication system using the Node.js. So what we are going to do here, as we are going to go through it, we need the user to sign up. Need the user to sign up with their information, that is the user email, the username, the email, and the password. So also what we need to do is to hash the password so that hackers can't have access to your system or hack your account or something. So this is what we call we need to encrypt that data, the password. So what we also need to do here is also save user records into the database. So we are going to also integrate a database whereby it is just not going to be a dummy data. We're going to create, mostly here we're going to focus on the back end, and hopefully maybe we shall build it up more by also incorporating with the front end. So here the second thing we're going to do is allow users to log in with their credentials. So here also the third thing, the session or we use token handling. Hopefully we are going to use JWT for handling our authorization. Yeah, who is supposed to access what. Yeah, and also, and then the fourth thing is protecting our routes. For every request to be protected data. And so here we check session or valid tokens. If it is valid, you allow. So if it is not valid, there's no way you'll enter into the system. Yeah. So we also work on the logout, whereby we delete the session, where remove the JWT, the token. So extra features we can add on later. Yeah, these are extra features like email verification, password reset, multi-factor authentication, and social logins, whereby also we can log in using Google. We can also log in using GitHub. Yeah. So hopefully this is what we're going to do, like always. So this is the checklist, like what we need to always have. Always a hash your password, use HTTPS request. Use you have to secure cookies if using sessions or tokens. Then use rate limiting to block brute force attempts. So like we have to give like a rate limit. Maybe like for our JWT, the token, we need to give it an expiry time whereby it will expire after a certain amount of time, so that maybe the person can log in again. Yeah, then we also have a valid input. Avoid this injection. Okay, yeah. So let's get into our code. So here I've already created the folder, which is the backend. So we're trying to do the installations for the for the requirements, like what we need. So here there was a problem here. There's supposed to be modules. Module. Yeah, I think module. So we have already installed the course. These are the dependencies we need. We have the Node Express course. We also need to install JWT, because it's the one we're going to use later. I think it's JSON Web Token. JSON Web Token. Then we also need what else do we need here? Let's say we also need the env not env dot env env. Yeah, this is where we shall be putting the sensitive information. It's a file we shall use. Let's install that. Yeah, it's already installed. So what we can do is we can start by creating our server. What you need here, we have the express, we have the course.env for configuring. I don't like this thing, it's auto-completing my work, which is not the main reason I'm here though. Let's see. I think I'll turn this off. I don't want these things to be completing my work. It doesn't make sense here. So here we can, oh my god, I'm trying to figure a way of stopping this thing from completing my work, bro. I don't need you to complete my work. not at this time. But anyway, let's just use it like that, since I'll figure a way on how to do it. So we need the express. So the express, we need to create a port. No. For now we don't need to create a port. Yeah, let's create a port. Const port. Where this one also a server will be running from. So we have the process dot env dot port. So we're going to put this thing in our env instead of exposing it to reduce the risks of people knowing where you're hosting your stuff from. So since this thing is going to be locally, we'll just create a port and run it locally in our system. So here, we already created this. Let's create app.use. We need to use the course and also use the what? The express. So this one will convert will convert everything we're getting into the JSON, because here mostly we're going to be using JSON. So we have app.use. We're going to use, we want to listen first so that we make the port run, the server run. We use the server and this, yeah. So our server will be running on the port that we put in our env.env. So we need to create a folder called a file called .env. So in this .env, this is where I put in the port we want to use. So the port we're going to use, let's say 8,000. Let's use 8,000 as our port. Here is also where we're going to put our a secret, which is, I just have to put this thing as my secret. This is my secret key. Then also, because we shall need the URL, I think most of you know how to set up the MongoDB URL. Here I'll create. So with this one, we're going to use authentication DB. Okay, let's just create a DB called authentication, which automatically when we do the connections, we don't need to go to the MongoDB campus, because I'm going to use MongoDB campus here. Yeah, so we shall not need to go to the thing and create it manually. When we put everything here and we run it, it will create it automatically. So we also need expires in. the JWT expires in, let's say, let's give it 1 day to expire in 1 day. So let's come to our what? We've already created this. I think we should try by running. Is it gonna run? Yeah, start. Yeah, our server is now running. So our server is running on port 8000. So let's continue creating the folder structure. So we need to have a folder for models. So for models, this is where we shall put the modules we're going to be having. So we're going to have user module. The model we have here is user.js. We're using JavaScript. So we have the model. Let's create also a folder for authentication. The auth controller. Yes. So in this auth controller, we shall have a file called auth controller. .js. So this is where we shall have most of the endpoints like controlling. We need also, let's create, no, it's not gonna be inside this, it's inside this. So we're creating a folder for the middlewares. I think it's auth middleware. So inside it we also create a file called auth middleware. Yes. Well, don't worry though, we're still learning. We're learning process by process. So I see there's something here. Whenever we do any update, it refreshes. So that is where the node mode comes in. The node mode helps you to what? To always refresh instead of you doing it manually. That's why it is helpful to use the node mode. So we already have this. So in the first step, what do? We need to create the endpoints. These endpoints. Structure. So this is how the folder structure is gonna be like. Okay. Yeah, so we're gonna do some little adjustments though. This is what shows that we're learning. We're going to put all these folders. Let's just delete them for now. Then we shall create them again. Let's delete this. Maybe inside this we create a source folder, because we need to organize our SRC folder. So in this SRC, we take this module, cut this module, we paste it inside it. So we have the module inside this. We also need to create a config file, whereby any configurations you have, need to create a folder called config. So here, this is where we're going to do our database configurations. DB db.js, where we shall do our database configuration. Then here we need to create a folder called routes. This for the routes. This for the routes. So in this we have the route.js. So we're gonna create our routes. What else? Need to create a folder for the middlewares. Middleware. Yes. So middleware. What else do we need again? Then the controllers. Middleware. Then the controllers. So we have middleware. Then we need a controller. Controller. So in this controller we shall have the auth. Is it auth.controller? .js. I think it's like that though. Yeah, auth.controller.js. Then for the middleware is auth.js. It's alright. Yeah, this one is correct. The middleware. Yeah. So we're gonna take it step by step. We need to now from here we need to make the system enable. What we need to do here, we have already created the server is now running. Then we need to create the routes for these endpoints. So let's go in the routes. In the routes we're going to import express, because express is what we're going to use for our routes. Import express from express. So from here is where we're going to be const router equals to, yes. So we use this router. For what? For our routes. So what we're going to do here, and then let's export our route. Export the default router so that we can import it this side in the server. So here we can have access to what? Import this. What router? We shall say auth router. Auth routes. We're putting it from this route. The first in the current folder. Then we have it is inside the source / the routes / route.js. So here so we have already brought it here. Now how do we incorporate it? Like how do we call it from here? So we need to use it here. App.use. We're using app.use. Then we API / the auth API / auth routes. So these are for the routes, so we can easily access these routes though. Okay, yeah, it's making sense though. We've already set this. So we need to go to our routes folder. Now for us to use this routes, what do we do here? So I think we need to create the controller here. Import express. So here in the controller, export controller. Auth controller. Let's see. So here we are using JWT to learn, not to give us the code. So how to what? How to set up the controller, because we already set up the rest. Controller. So here, this is where we create the functions. Okay. So the first one is what it should do. Okay. So we don't need this actually, because it's going to be, let's do it in a good way. Export const controller. Right. Need this arrow function. So here we have the sign up. Let's start with the sign up. So in the sign up, we have a function. So for us to sign up, what do we want? We want to get we want to, we need to give our details. So like if we had a front end whereby we have a form to give to the users. So here we need to create what we're going to give to the users. Yes, this You want to give them the username. You want them to put in the username. We are requiring three things from them: the username, the email, the password. From the what, we shall get that all that from the request body. Yes. So I think let's first go create the modules. Let's set up the modules. So to be what yeah, we need to, so that we send these modules to the database. We need to import what mongoose from mongoose. But now we need to install mongoose. I think we didn't install the mongoose, which is required for us to connect our database. So npm install need mongoose for our MongoDB. It's gonna take quite a long time, not too long, but yeah. So setting up is installing our mongoose, the dependency we require to connect our database, since we're going to use MongoDB. Yeah, I think it's done. Let's clear this door. So well, we're in the user here, import mongoose from mongoose. So here we need to create the schema. So we're going to do like const what do we name our schema? We name our schema, let's say user. Const user equals to new mongoose dot schema. So this is where we're going to put our schema. Whereby what we require is the name. You know, in MongoDB, we don't need to include the ID because it gives us the ID automatically. So here we need name, which is the type what? Type string, and what it is required, because this is part of validation, form validation. We need to validate our things. So we also need the email with the type. What is our email type? Email type is string here. String that is required, and here we shall need it to be what? To be unique. We need our email to be unique though, because it is one of the things that we shall be using to differentiate who is who. You can't create an account the same email. Yeah. So a password, we need the password where for the type this. So let's also include the timestamps, which can help us. Timestamps. Stamps. So, which will also give us the things like then we give a schema. So this is the schema. So we need to export this. Export const user so that we can use it. So this is the model now. Yeah, goes to mongoose model which takes this argument, that is the user, and this user will be a table. It will be a table we have in our database. That's the schema. So we have this. What is the problem here? I think this is the problem. This more. Down through. What is the problem? How is it supposed to be? But after this or what? Wait. This is example. What's the difference? Oh, timestamp has to be also in its own bracket too. Okay. So created that. So wow, we were in the controller. So here for us to sign, we need this. So first username, email, and the password. So after this, what happens? Need to check. Need to this using this try catch is very good because helps in safe catching errors. So this is the error. Can what? Also log the error. So log the error and give a status of what? Like 500. 500. This is a status that shows that we have internal server error. So here, this is down here. So const username equals this. But next, we need to validate the input. So to say if you don't have username, if username, if there is no username, and there is this. There's no username, there's no email, and there's no password. What do we do? We return a response with the status what? Status 400. This is an error that we are giving to the front end. Then this exit. So that what? All fields are required. Because you can't say that you're leaving some part out and what? And the other is field. So from here, that's why we check if there is an existing user of the same what? Email. So by the way, we have a problem somewhere here. I think since we're using a wait, we're going to be using wait. We need to put a sync here. Sync. Then we will put the response. Request first, then response, right? Response. I think that's right. And from there we will const existing what? Existing user. Goes to await, we have to await whatever it is in the user. It's up. Fine. Would find one of the same email. This same email. Yeah, so now before all this, we need to import the module import user. from our module. Yeah, let's import this user from our module. The problem here const existing user because we need to find and search if there is a user. Yes. So from there, if user exists, if existing user, if there is a user, so user needs to we are validating. So we return what? Return a response. But here, that status of what? 400. This is our own message that we create. Saying that what? User already exists. User already exists. So we already have the user. That means we already have the user. Then the next thing we can do, we create a what? Create a new user. For us to create a new user, we have to insert the new user. We are inserting it to the database. Where we have this username. What we are inserting is this username. Yeah. Password. But before all this, we need to also encrypt our password because you don't want our password to be known, so that hackers can have access. So we need to install npm install decrypt. This for encrypting our password. So that even the system doesn't know what our password is. So our decrypt is already there, so we can import decrypt from this. Yes. So for us, what we can do next here, before we create a new user, we need to encrypt the password. So what do need to create a const of salt. We need to create a salt here. The salt is just like how hard the password should be. We need to make something hard so that these guys can hack into the system and find our passwords. No, security is very important. So we need to hash the password. So say hash the password. If password equals to await, we have to await because this is an async and await. So what does it do? It takes for this await to work, you need to have the async. So this is async await function. Whereby you have to first wait for something to be done before you proceed. So decrypt hash. So decrypt alone has a lot of what? If we put a dot, there are a lot of functions there. We have the hash, the rest which I'll get to know the moment using. So we hash the what? We hash our password, hash this password that we have, that we get from the user. It takes two arguments actually. The salt is how hard we want the password to be. Then from there we create a new user with this. And then for this the password will be the hashed password that we created. Yes. So here we need to send the new user to the database. So this is where we shall use also await after all those things being creating user save. We save it into the database and we return a response of 201. 201 now means it is successful. The user registered successfully. Then now we need to call this in the routes. Then here is a route for the router the post because we're posting as with this slash sign up. We need the wait. Yeah, so here we need to import our controller. Need to import this app controller. So we sign up. So this is the route for the sign up. I think let's first be testing our APIs rather than this because when we don't know what is happening. So here I'm going to use standard client. So let's create new request. So we're using a post. And this is we can use this route, PI route. This one is for sign in. Yeah, sign up. We're using 8,000, right? Sign up. So we need to put the information we need. So this is gonna be username. So username, what can we use for username? Let's use John for username. We use email. Then email we can say John at gmail.com. Then we need a password. The password, since it is going to be encrypted or hashed, we shall need to say, let's say our password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7. Yeah, so this is gonna be our password. So let's see if our endpoint is gonna work. Connection was refused by server. Why? Let's check our server. Is it running? We have a problem. We have a problem here. I think we need to solve it. Why is our thing not running? Cannot find the so it is not finding the controller. The controller in the routes. I think the problem is here because it's fresh. It's fresh. These are errors you face. So development is not easy though. You have to face it one by one. Try to solve problems. Or more. Still have another problem though. We're trying to import the auth controller from where? Oh, I think we need to put /source src. So it is in the what folder? My current folder, source controller, auth controller. .ws. We're still facing this error, bro. It's the npm run this, bro. What is the problem? Imported from this. Cannot find this. Cannot find. Source. So instead of using this is how it was before. So that solved now. Saying cannot find package. There's a mistake. I made a mistake, big mistake. Instead of installing the packages in within this, because I use the different here. You see, so need to see into this integration. Okay. Yeah, no, cd into backend. Okay, so we need to install mongoose and decrypt. not easy though. 50 minutes into the coding. Yeah. Let's see how we can complete this. We already have this problem solved. Let's try to what? Let's just go to chat to see what the real solution here. So it hasn't installed the big group yet. I think it's gonna work from here though. Errors after errors. Not easy though. Ah, you the models. We have a problem here. Required this a little bit true, man. Then it's up here. What else? Hope there's no any error here. Ah! Get a lot of errors. Finding these errors is just the hardest thing ever, because you feel like everything is going well, but it's bad. Think, error, what are you saying? Argument handler must be a function. If I say, sometimes chat can make things easier for you by explaining exactly what's the problem. The error always comes from your route file, not the controller. It means somewhere in your routes you did something like this. Okay. All this, but express expects the second argument to be a function, but you give it something else undefined, a string. How to fix this? So here in the route you're supposed to have I think this is where our problem is. In the this yes, router post sign up this route. Then we have using the authenticator, the auth controller dot. Let's see what we have. The auth controller. This sign up here. Sign up. So also highlighted though. What's wrong? See what it gave us again. Data post. So it is saying we need to report on. Wait a minute. What's this thing done though? I'm trying to solve this problem here though. We're already actually good. We're going well. Now we'll face the problem where our code is not running. Exactly where. The whole problem is here. It's just a what? This is just an object which is having sign up. Now I see there is a difference. Sign up. Around here. I think we'll try to delete this. It will bring it automatically out. Yeah. Let's sign up. Hopefully, let's see. And then we have another problem. Yeah, man. So it's working well. But now we need to create a connection to our what? Our database. This is where we come and configure everything here. We can import members. Import members. Import members from members. Then we need to create a connection. Then we say, yeah. Yes, export our what? Create one connect db. Connect db. It's going to be an asynchronous function. Same function, we have to give a try catch. Try then catch. We need a try catch block. So in this try catch, this is error. So in case there is any problem, we say error connecting to database. Then we also what? Console log the error, the exact error. So here, come and say we have to await, because we're using an async, we have to await connect this connecting, and remember we put our the URI the database .env mongo URI. Yeah, I think that one works. Then we set .10 so if this connected, we can solve it. Yeah, connected to database. Then if fails, we need a catch. But look, the catch will give us the error. We have the error here also. Error. Yeah. And then we're able to do the database connection error. This is within just here, like, so this one takes the Mongo. We connect to the database using the what? The URI. Of which we have the URI in the what? In our env. Remember putting it here. So this is the database that we create. So where are we? We're here and we're exporting this. So this we need to also include it in our server here. So we need to import connectivity. Connect. Wait. Connect DB, of course. Connect. Import this connect DB from this. So here this is where we need to open a connection. Yeah. So like this, it will connect to our database. Easy to connect to our database. So let's see if our database is running though. npm start. Should get a message connected to database successfully. Here the server is connected on 8000. So that means our database is connected successfully. So let's open Mongo campus setup, because we are doing it locally. We're not pushing to the Atlas at the moment. So automatically it is created for us. Yeah, it's created for us to deal with the users. So what we need to do is just to log in. No. Yeah, is to create a login here. Then from here we shall not have any error. Sometimes you need to go through your URL variable. 404. That means it's a problem somewhere. What could be the problem? We're using a post though. Sign up. So let's first go and check what really is the problem. The information I gave, username. Let's check the user model. We have the username, which is a string. Then we have the email, which is a string on the pad, and it should be unique. Then we also have the password, which is a string. It is required. Then what could be the problem? Why is it saying 404? Let's go to our controller. Check, cross check. So we have const. So this 404 is coming from where? So before we know this controller. Controller const here, username, email, password. This is what we are getting from the body. So if we don't have this all, give us F400 they require. I think the problem is here. No, but even the way we wrote this, there has to be response. What could be the problem? This is the hardest part, debugging. let's do it again. Maybe we have username. Username, yes, the username is John for now. Then we have the email. You can use john@gmail.com. Then we also need a password too. Password. Password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're still facing the same error. We have a problem here. This thing and what? Saying 404 not found. What could be the problem? Raising a post because we're pushing. I want to enter this. Let me try restarting. No? No. Is the problem in our code? I think text the request and the response try constitution. If existing code is existing user. No, this user doesn't exist. Yes. You see, we're trying to find bugs in our code. User does not exist. As I say, if users here, is already in this. It means you find it through the email. Try to delete this endpoint again. But I know the problem is somewhere just something very simple. But it is simple when you know it. So let's HTTP slash using port of 8000 slash pi facing a serious bug that we're failing to find the where exactly the problem is. It's saying not found. What if, let's say we're testing something, what if we didn't give anything? Still the same. So we're running for dummies. Is it a problem thing here? we're still facing issues here. We have to solve it though. We have to solve it. Solve it. Solve it. Ah, I think the problem is here. This is the problem. Need to create the route, like where exactly the route is now. Like for this is the route. No, we don't have another error. Wait, we're in the learning process though, so sometimes what shows that you're learning, because if you find errors in the code, you're able to find errors. That's the best thing though. You need to know how to debug your code. Yes, this is what I want. Password. So we have to first also test something here that I want came into my mind. So there is something we're going to test here. Like let's say remove this, and we want to test if the word if we don't have, in case we have not filled anything. Let's see, test. Yes. Oh, there's an internal server error here also. What happened? Okay, maybe we had this, but they were not filled. They say they were not filled, like they're empty. Yeah, so it gives us this message saying that all fields are required. So what we do is take it back, then send. Yeah, user registered successfully. So we have the user in our database. Let's refresh. Yes, now we have our user in the database. You see, even the password is hashed. You can't see the password in your database though. So else, so we have already implemented. We have worked on for the sign up. Now we need to also work on the what? Down for the login. And for the login, it's very tricky because we also need to see if the person is what has signed up before. Yeah, so that's where a lot of logic is going to happen, and we also need to use the JWT. So let's see. I think the JWT for authentication and also authorizing somebody into your system. Where is it? Yeah, where we talked about this, create a token, then optionally create a refresh, then send the token to the client. Then we also have to protect our routes. So here, now let's go to the what? So we are done with the sign up. So let's also focus on the what? On the login part. Login, which is gonna just be the same. No. Login, sync, all this, even with this. So for us to log in, we try catch block. This one helps you like finding errors. So console.log. Error using this, we cannot support this. Wait. login. Yeah, we need a comma because this is an object and there are different things inside it. And this one is for the sign up. This one is also for the login. Yeah, so in this try cat block, what we want to receive from there, what we are going to get. So we want the email. For us to log in, we need the email and the password. So first, the email and password. So these are the things. Yeah, so this one is also validation if there is no email. So here we need to create a user which we shall go and first fetch and compare the what? Compare the email that the person is logging in with and the one in the database. So here this is const user, create a user which is, we have to await because this is an async await. Await the user dot find one with that email, right? So wait, so from here, if you don't find the same user, that means there's no user, like these are wrong credentials. But if you find the same user, that's when we go to the next step. So here, say if there is no user, if user is not there, what do we do? We tell them yeah, straight to return, saying that these are wrong credentials. Status 404. No, this status 400. This is one error we created. Secure Authentication. Because the person has not entered anything. Six valid credentials. So the credentials are invalid. That means they are wrong. Invalid credential. Or you can say invalid password to confuse them. You know, you don't need to let them know if the password is the problem or the username, the email, I mean. Because if you let them know, they can predict, hackers can predict your what, your next move. Because if the final one is correct, they will know where the problem is exactly. So if there's no user, this. So that means if there is user, you have to what? You have to compare now. So you have to create is this one. You have to compare the password. You need to create this match. This here now we have to compare the password we have and the password they have entered. So the other one was what for the email. So we need to also compare the password. Compare this password. Compare this password we got from what? From the user and the one we have in the database. User dot password. Yes. Then the user here you can just, it's better to tell them user not found. Not found. You know, you need to get good what? Good error messages. So user not found. So this one is match. So if you don't find any match, you don't find it. So if we don't find any match, what happens? If you don't find any match, say the thing is what? The thing is, we give them an error message. You know, so we give them an error message saying that invalid credentials. Else, login successful. Else, what happens? Give them this message saying login successful, and what? So if the things match, it will be login successful. Else, so now this is where we come to session creation with JWT. Yeah, so to import JWT, which I want to also use the secret. What we need to also use the secret for the .env. Now that's why we need that .env config. So here, what the next step? The next step we need to do. Need to create a token, right? So for us to create a token, we need to have the JWT.sign. We need to sign. You know, it has other things inside. We have the sign. So this one takes 3 attributes. It takes 3 attributes. That is the payload. It takes the 3 attributes. That's the payload. The secret key and the expiry time. So this is the sign up with the payload. Now we need to create our payload here. So first payload. So our payload will be what? It will be our user ID. User ID which will be equals to user ID which will be this. So this is our payload. Payload. So this is the user, because already in the database we shall find this. So here we shall take dot payload and the secret process env JWT. Now that this is our secret in the what? In the env, in the file env. So this is our secret key. Let's just take it from here. So process that this is our secret. Then we also need the expiry. So this is this one expiry. And I remember there, as I said, you need to let the token also expire. The code just expire. So this is the expiry. So the next step we can have here. Next step is gonna be So this is now we are going to create a token. So we shall need to send it to our client. So this is the token. When you send it to the token is under used to what? To access other things, like maybe their profile and stuff. So let's try to go and what? Sign up. Let's say we're signing up with this. Let's say this one is going to be not sign up, I mean login. So the login is still post. So let's see. Let's test something out. Let's maybe put M. You have a problem. That means yeah. I think the problem here is in the route. We didn't include it. It's route. So we need to include this route so that it can also work here. So this is its route. So error connection. Problem here, connection was refused by server. Why would it refuse the connection? Let's try to break and run again. Successfully. No, when we are logging in, we need the email and the password. So these are the things. Yeah. So as we said the other time, the thing is, the password is wrong. No. It's supposed to be wrong credentials because we already know the users behavior. I think what we put here, you see, when the email is not what, it's not correct. So invalid. That means the email was not correct. Yeah, invalid credentials. You have to not let them know exactly what the problem is. Maybe you the developer for a case can do that. Yeah. So just a invalid credentials. So if we put it correctly, it will send us the token of obviously login successful and what? Login successful. Server string. So anyway, don't worry. Sometimes it may not go the way you want, expected, but what you need to do is just have the right information to because here we're all learning so here you need to come up. We're all learning and nobody's correct. That's why we come to this platform to learn together. Yeah. Login successful. So actually, it was a little problem that we had. So here it sends like when the login is successful, sends us the token. So this is the token we shall use to access like maybe our profile. So anyway, yeah, we're going good. We're going good. So now what we need to do is protecting our routes. Actually, we already protected this thing, but there's something that we need to do in the middleware here. Let me first see. The auth middleware. Yeah, so this is where we do what? We do authentication here. Authorization actually. We, yeah, the middleware protects routes that should only be accessible to logged in users. Yeah, so we already have the what? We already have the access. Like if you already have the token, you can use it to access the route that you want, which are protected. So when a request comes in, it checks is the user authenticated. The next is the session or the token valid? Because remember the token we used before, it expires in what? It expires after 1 day. So if yes, let request continue. If no, block the what? Block with 401, which is unauthorized. Yes. So here the folder structure, we're going to put the logic is going to be in the auth.middleware.js. So in the logic inside, this is the high level. If using the token, look for the token authorization headers. Yes, I remember that. Then you verify the token signature and expiry. Then extract the user ID from the token. Attach the user data to the what? The user this to the request with user. If invalid, return 404. If using sessions. So now we are actually using tokens. We're actually using tokens. So since we are using tokens, let's go and set up our middleware. The middleware where we should protect our routes. So the middleware here is supposed to be auth.middleware. Don't worry about anything here. In the learning process, you get to know what is for what and what is for what. That's why we're learning. So in the middleware here, we need to create an export function. Export function. Middleware. Yes. Just like before. So here we have to verify no actually yes, since we're going to verify first middleware. That's the request, the response, and the next. This next, what it does is if it is authenticated and it is true, That's where you go ahead, that it allows you to access whatever route you want to take. So what is the problem here? We have the request that we expect. This is here, this is here, this is here. We expect the common. Yeah. Okay. So we need to create a token. So for us to create the token, what was the step here earlier? So the first thing is look for a token. So for us to look for the token, we need to find it in the authorization mode. Headers. So let's go ahead and post token equals to the request body. So in the request body, headers, that header, if you find something called authorization. So this one is if it fails or not, but you need to split that space. Split this space, and you take the what? Take the second then we take the second information, because I know in headers we have the bearer. Then name with the token code. So what this thing is doing here is to go and look for in the request headers if there is something called authorization. Then in that authorization, because you shall find, this is what we will find in the authorization. I'll show you how to do it. I'll show you how to do it using that within the client. So we have, so what we shall do, this question mark, that is maybe what it uses if it fails. It's just as a fail case, a fail safe, I mean. So dot split, we shall split this and take away the space. That is what this thing does, the space. Then from taking the space, we take the second code, the second number. See, this is what this split does. So we take because in an array we have the indexes. So it is saying take the second index, because this one is index 0 and this one is 1. Yeah. So here, yeah. So this one we have created the token. So we need to also verify the token. It's in the JWT. Yes. So we have to come and say verify. Verified. Okay, let's say verified. So if it is verified, but for us, before we verify, we need to give an if there is no token. What happens? Because we need to give a message to give a return. To give a return with the response. The status of 404 that authorization is not authorized. The message saying no token, so authorization denied. So you are denied access. So that's when you come to verify. if it is there, right, because JWT verify. What are we verifying? We're verifying the token. So this thing of verify takes the token and the secret key that we have. So from there, after this, then so we already compared and it is correct. So let's you know what else is going to be star 6, so here to be like if the verification has failed, if verified, so this one says if verified, if there is no verification, so that means the verification is wrong. Return a response of 401. This is the message we printed, saying that no token verification failed. Authorization denied. So we still deny them authorization. From there, else. So the else will be the request.user. Now that means it is verified equals to. So if this request.user is the same, just to verify it, then we click on the next week will allow them to go to the next one, to the next route. Yes. So there's one thing we need to do in the routes. Here we need to include import the middleware. From the middleware, yes. And so we also have to include it here. So then this one we will get is not a post, because this is what the user will get. We're fetching what is there. So the router get. Let me say you can just say profile. Let's say profile. So here it will take, this is the middleware. Text of middleware. Yeah. Yeah, there was some little issue that I had here, so I was trying to verify something. So yeah, so we need to, because we need to send something to the what? So the request, the response. So we need to send a response. This status with the status that is correct. Status of what? 200. Yeah. This is a protected file. Yeah, so send them this message. Protected profile route. So you're unauthorized. So let's try and test it out. If it works, then we're good to go. So we already have the token. which is here. Login successful and we have a token. So this is the token. So for us to be authorized, we need to come here. The headers, come here and create type authorization. Authorization, then you write bearer, then the authorization, the token. So let's see. Yeah, because we need to go to the route. So this will be a good, say, let's say profile slash profile. Yeah, very good, very good. So it allows the user to what, to go to the next profile. Yeah, so this is the issue that expires on all the dates. So the email of the person, as we put it in, as we put these ones are the users, which will take the request that user, whatever the user had. Feel like we've done a lot of failed safes here, but it's good actually to do validation because it helps you in debugging. So when I'm there also, yeah, we sent this to the what, to the route. So this part only is just to protect the route. Very simple. Something you can understand within a little time. Bro. Yeah, things that's it for now. We understood how to do authentication and also protect our routes from any intruder. Yeah, I think we're gonna stop here, and don't fail to subscribe to this new YouTube channel of mine. And if you are interested, follow up, subscribe. Yeah, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the notification bell icon. Yeah, thank you.